I'm going live, and it should be on the Gimbalabs Twitter
Check
and
in.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
it is. Hi, everyone. There's
Hey,
no viewer at
okay.
Hello, hello.
Oh, good. And it
all. Hello,
worked on YouTube.
everybody.
Yeah. All right. So the link I shared
Hi, Steve.
should work.
Hi, Steve.
Good.
Hey, dude.
So, so welcome to our weekly update. Yeah, hi, Steve. That's great. And now, I mean, we can imagine it's week 10 out of 12, actually. And that was quite a journey, I think. Yeah, so let's see what we've done this week and give you an update on that. Our agenda is, as usual, we're gonna have our shout outs usually, as every week. We tell you what we've done, what our next steps will be, what your next steps will be, and how you can get involved, and question answers via YouTube. So this week's shout outs, maybe James, you want to go with the first one?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's such an honor to thank all of the community advisors. Steve, I don't know how many hours you put into that over the last few weeks, but to everybody for the thoughtful feedback, your attention to making Catalyst work. I know it's really, really hard to build that system as it goes. And we really admire, we know there's a lot of work that a lot of people don't see happening there. So we're just so grateful to all of you. And we'll dig into a little bit of the feedback we got in just a minute because it was because it was so helpful to take a look at that. So more in just a moment.
Yeah. And of course, thank you to Carlos Vargas Montero, helping us build capacity and expertise. And what we mean by that, I mean, we just saw Carlos presenting on the town hall of Project Catalyst, and actually we reached out because we just saw a great connection here to bring value to the community. So we connected, and more to come on that, on what's next, what's in our next week, right?
Yeah.
So as mentioned by James, we want to go a little bit more deeper into the Catalyst feedback, and Roberto will highlight some topics on the infrastructure budget. So what do we want to say about that, Roberto?
Okay, so we had some comments on the infrastructure cost being very low. That's because we want to keep the funds we request sensible, and we had requested a good amount of money for servers and Fund 2. We have some of them, some funds left, so we decided just to keep it low for this fund. From the fund for proposal to now, we had to increase some resources for the Cardano node, for example, on Dandelion deploy, and also we've deployed an IPFS cluster for the playground. Cost will be increasing, so probably in the next round, if we propose something in some future rounds, we need to request some more funds, but we want to keep it sensible.
What I hear you saying is people should keep using those dandelions, and if they do, we'll just have to ask for more money to run them, right?
Right.
Yes, definitely. So that's actually was a good feedback, and we just wanted to use that platform as well as other platforms in the future to address these issues. And coming to the next point in the feedback on making plans based on feedback, I think it refers to I mean, we had so much valuable feedback given there, and it just nurtures us in looking at those comments and really get this point, discuss it within the team, and take it to the next level. So we are very grateful for that. That leads us to the next point, James, and I am sure you want to comment on that.
These go together, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's these were such astute observations, and honestly, I think it made us all feel seen to get this feedback, because one of the advisors said it just feels like there's too many things in the pipeline. And when I read that feedback, I was like, yes, that's right. So we've spent the last couple months just trying a bunch of stuff, right? And some of our ideas, they launched enduring conversations, and some of them, they kind of led nowhere yet. And so we, in order to kind of maximize the research and the feedback over the last few months, we've just been trying a bunch of things. And that has meant that there has been an awful lot of things in the pipeline and loose ends, to be honest, right? In a few cases. But we'll talk more in just a minute about our next steps. And we want you to know that all of this messy work of the last few months has been priceless. We're so grateful to everybody for your patience going there with us. Anybody who's participated in these messy conversations, you are essential, and we're just so grateful to you. So if we do things right for the next 3 months, there should be a lot more clarity as we take everything we've done and we really start to focus now. The one more thing I guess I want to say, though, is I hope that other teams get the opportunity to do the same thing, right? Having a few months to come together and say, all right, in order to achieve this bigger thing, what are we going to do to get there? That is an experience that I would wish for a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. So help me on the last bullet on grassroots developer talent. Any thoughts on that?
This was another case of really just feeling seen in these comments, to the advisor who recognized that this is what we're trying to do. There's a lot of work that needs to be done across the Cardano ecosystem, and it's going to involve a lot of different people. So one thing we're trying to do is kind of create homegrown talent, and that goes for people who are showing up for the playground. But honestly, it also goes for me, right? Roberto coaches me to learn how to use different tools, and it's building my confidence and my ability to then turn around and support other people. So we're all going deeper together, and we hope that people who are here feel that, you feel yourself becoming more of an expert on more things.
Great. Great. So going on to the next slide. That would be like a more detailed view on our budget in Fund 4, aligned with the feedback we received. Actually, just give you an overview, we requested almost $50,000, which of the core team that comprises us four, Kyle, unfortunately absent, but what is most important and what you probably not have seen yet, I'm not sure, is that 50% of that budget we destiny to people, to developers and community, to the community, to be part of our journey to create, to develop further. And we just got it so clear that this is such an important piece to really develop something that is proven, that works, that aligns to the needs of the developer, and that we really make sure that we can guarantee this impact. And additionally to really makes sense for business or for problems, that people will show up with that. So we can merge these things together and really create a important value proposition here.
That's right.
Right.
That's for us to cultivate the grassroots, right?
Yeah, totally. So what we've done this week, handing over to Roberto, our CTO, actually, right?
Kinda. Okay, so I haven't done too much work on infrastructure, but we have a new toy that it's, as I mentioned before, we needed an IPFS endpoint, and I deployed an IPFS cluster for our database for the event ticketing system. Yeah, fruit of that, as it's following in the following playground MVP point, we got a new open source project which is customized IPFS cluster, which anyone can spin up locally or in their cloud Kubernetes cluster. Yep, that's all on the infrastructure side for this week.
It's so exciting. Yeah, all of these things, they make the systems easier to build, and they make it easier to cultivate that community. So Julie and I have been taking the playground experience so far and looking at it and saying, okay, what is the system here? And we're starting to have some real clarity, would you say?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it just going through it, stepping a step away. It really makes it is fun to see how we connect dots from the business perspective as well as from the developer perspective, because the value proposition turns into a synergy of learning opportunity and building up capacity and this network, but also giving the businesses the opportunity to really explore. So actually the lab in our name makes totally sense, and it's getting more clear each week. And we're actually putting this into paper and getting a more clear business case on that we can pitch for what's coming next, right?
I got in trouble when I was in high school for treating the laboratory too much like a playground. I recall. What happens if I mix this with that? Or what if we apply a little fire to this? I ended up washing a lot of lab materials for that, but there's this combination, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's
right. That's right.
That's what hackers do.
Right.
They break stuff, learn deep things.
I wasn't trying to get anybody in trouble. Just kind of see how this works. Anyway, my 7-year-old, now she carries the torch. You know, she'll poke and prod everything. Cool.
Good.
And I just want to give a shout out to Roberto. If you missed Coding on Chain yesterday, check it out, because what you did there is you brought some big topics right down to home, showing people what it looks like. And so for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, the premise was Roberto started off by saying, hey, I got this new laptop yesterday. Here's what it looks like when I have to set up a new device, right? And I felt so much more confidence seeing you go through that process, because I was like, okay, I'm not crazy when I have to do all these steps to make things work. That's actually what it takes. And so to see an expert like you digging in and showing us how to use the tools, it was priceless. And I so very much appreciate that. And you've got some coming attractions too, right?
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. Yeah, it was awesome having this live improvised session, deploying Cardano node, Cardano DB-Sync, Cardano GraphQL, all that on Windows, on a Windows tablet. It was like, why not? You could reach a bunch of developers that use Windows and need these services locally. We have dandelion.link, but yeah, they probably want to touch that locally. Now it's possible, and I hope this coding on chain session allows them to break that steep curve when you feel like you got to spend 1 hour setting everything up. But at least it's 1 hour and not let's say 2 days researching, thanks to customized dandelion.
Yeah. And in the long term, this is a crusade, right? I mean, we're going to insist that as many people as possible set these things up, because you shouldn't be relying on just Roberto's cluster, right? He's a really nice guy, but you don't know him, right? This is the whole purpose of decentralization, is to get people able to level up these skills, because that's what's going to bring all of us up into the system we're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't trust, verify. We cannot pay for the server bills for everyone. So dandelion.link is there for anyone to prototype and make the onboarding on Cardano, the onboarding process on Cardano easier. But yeah, you should plant your dandelion seed on your own garden.
Yes. Ooh, and don't trust, verify. That's a good T-shirt. We might have to make those someday. All right, so next steps. I mentioned a moment ago, we're hard at work on really scoping out the playground and adding that to our roadmap. Julie, give us some clarity on that.
Yeah, so while reflecting on the playground one, and just a good practice, we realize what we require. So we have the lessons learned section actually walked through today, and further on in this week I talked about the process and all the things we need in terms of documentation, in terms of dynamics, in terms of setting out the scope clearly to make it an experience that is really back looping to all the participants. So you're coming in, you're learning, you tinker, you experiment, but at the end you really will have the feeling to have the knowledge to be able to apply and take some tools out of it that even makes you a future Catalyst proposer, right? So this is actually what we're trying to sophisticate, to strengthen, and I think we are in a good way to do that. Yeah. So you wanna take the second? I mean,
yeah. So we are going to launch a second playground that builds on the first one. So and we'll show this in a visual roadmap. But as the first playground helps all of us as learners to develop the idea, the second playground group will be formalizing those ideas. So we have, should we talk about Alex's idea, or should we save that?
Oh no, we shouldn't. No, let's make this a special event. I really want this to be something special. And so the idea is really taking real world ideas, projects, problems into our playground space and explore it into a real world. And there it comes. I mean, I just reflected on, or just laid out on the experience on the developer. But on the other hand, we really have this vision to onboard businesses or people that have an idea and really maybe are in the professional space, maybe self-employed or not, doesn't matter, but really want to explore something. That's a perfect opportunity here at that stage. Where are we right now at Gimbalabs and Cardano? I mean, it's the perfect moment to do that. We receive you with open arms, just to have a talk about that, because the knowledge about the problem and the sector and how maybe regulatory works, or any challenges that are faced by teams or companies, that are very welcome, and it helps us to also prototype the way how we're gonna manage the knowledge gathering of their problems, and to really make sure what makes sense from the tech side. So this is our ambition, I think, for the Playground team too. What's coming next, and we are all very excited about that, because it's going to be another level of learning curve, and new people involved, and new feedback loops. So happy to be on the new adventure, actually, that's waiting for us, right?
And when we talk about launching it, we're going to scope it before we bring people in, and we're going to write
Of
it all in
course.
pseudocode too. So we'll have that to share. That'll be really fun. So speaking of playgrounds, super exciting that our next playground meeting, we've got Gonzalo and Alan from the input-output team. This is the work that Carlos helped us organize. So obviously everybody who has typically been part of Playground 1, and anybody else who wants to drop by, we welcome you to come by to talk about metadata. And we're going to do about 20 minutes of the IO team sharing out, and about 40 minutes of open Q&A, so we can all dig into all these questions we've generated over the last few weeks. Finally, we will have Gimbal Pool registered. So we have an epic ending tonight, and so during the next epic, we will get that pool initially up and running. The goal of this pool is to serve as a learning tool, and also to help us create the treasury. So when we show you our budget and we say, look, half of it is for the Gimbalabs community, and when you're exactly right. Right. This is, we need the seeds to be incentivized, right? It's the days of relying on volunteer contributions should not last forever, and should not last for too much longer. So we've tried to be really responsible with the fund to funds, which has allowed us to get a few other projects started sooner than we thought to. And what will help us initially seed the Gimbal pool and the Gimbalabs treasury. And then those Fund 4 funds build upon that in a really direct way, where we can say, exactly, we can't just say, hey, go seed your project. We have to incentivize it somehow. And so the Gimbal pool is the first step of then implementing the first version of a Gimbal token. Just like everything else, we're probably going to learn a whole bunch of things right away. So we're trying to figure out, how do we do this as safely as possible, maximize learning and minimize collateral damage, right? So trust is going to be really essential as we get this going. But I think we're in the right place for it.
Yeah.
So
and we're excited about it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So your next steps, obviously, join us on Tuesday. These details will come up in Discord, so make sure you join us on Discord if you're on there, and reach out to us if you have a project you are thinking about or a problem to solve. You don't even, all the developers of all kind of diverse ecosystems are welcome, even those who are not, and those who are just entrepreneurs. You're all welcome, because we want to create this diverse network where all of you are required to contribute in a certain kind to make this really work and be beneficial to all of us. And obviously, we will take some questions right now, I think, right? From the YouTube channel. If you have some.
The chat has been bumping today. Thanks, guys, for the energy.
Yes.
Steve spoke.
There's some German too. Steve, I recognize that. And you are right. Sometimes it's better, but sometimes it's also okay just to trust.
What's Vertrauen?
Vertrauen is trust.
Yeah,
And
right.
Kontrolle is control. Yeah, so you got it there.
Cool. Cool.
There are some background birds on this call.
My window is finally open, guys.
Oh, nice.
Spring is here.
I thought there was a Charles here.
Oh, I'm glad they're coming through. That's nice.
Yeah, yeah. Right, sometime. So great. If there are questions, we are open to receive you in any of our channels. So I would take it from there and wish you a happy weekend, a nice Friday night, and see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week,
Yeah.
everybody.